Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Mary, and I'm excited to walk you guys through some commonly asked questions about the digital growth community and the four programs that we offer to get started with your own online passive income stream. This is my partner in crime, Carrie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Carrie, before we jump into those commonly asked questions, I thought it'd be really cool if we just share how did we end up here? Why did we even get into digital marketing? I don't know if you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
Um, you can go first and then our stories kind of intersect.
Yeah, they absolutely do intersect because Carrie and I were on the same team at our former company, and we had just been promoted to a new team where we thought we were kind of being touted as the darlings of the company. They were pouring in all kinds of money into training us, and we were being, all the other teams in the company were kind of being forced to adapt and work with us. So we had not even on our radar that our jobs would possibly be at risk. And then one day I was taking a sick day, and my director jumped over my manager and texted me and said, I need you in a team meeting. And I said, well, I'm taking a sick day. And he said, you have to be there. And so I kind of felt uncomfortable, but I still didn't think that our jobs were at risk. I thought maybe it was a reorg meeting or something like that. But as soon as I got into the call, we saw, someone from HR, we saw the vice president there, and they started telling us how today's your last day. You have 10 minutes. We're going to cut off your email. And, here's 6 weeks severance. Good luck. And I watched as some of my younger colleagues were crying on the Zoom call. Fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it, I had already been laid off once before in my career 7 years earlier. So this was literally just kind of rinse and repeat for me. I did not cry. I was a little ticked off though, but I realized at that one moment in time, I had one income stream and it was my job and it had just been taken away from me. I also realized that I was just too old to continue on this train wreck of what we call corporate America, and I needed to do something different in my life. And it wasn't for till about 9 months later that I found digital marketing, but I was ready for it. So that's my story and how I ended up here. And then Carrie, she can share a little bit about hers.
Mary, I always think of you throwing your computer when you found out. My response was turned my screen off and just cried because the truth is I did not have a plan B. I had a little bit of savings, I got a little severance, and then eventually it dried up. Okay. So I was always that person that had a side hustle. I was on your Facebook selling you everything under the sun, okay? But none of them really worked for me. So after this layoff, doing those side hustles, I was like, I gotta find something better. And those 6 months being laid off, I leaned on credit cards and I was already in debt. So that just put me even more in the hole. And like Mary said, like about 8, 9 months later, after getting a job where I was getting paid half of what I was being paid before, I was desperate to find something that can give me some extra money where I can start paying off my debt, get out of that paycheck cycle. And this was a no-brainer for me. And it's really changed my life. I'm just very thankful for it. And from someone who's done over a dozen side hustles, and I'm not lying, MLM, network marketing, everything, guys. This by far surpasses all of them and my expectations. Yeah.
Carrie, I think that's a really good point because one of our most commonly asked questions is, do I have to be tech savvy to do that? And you're saying that you've done different side hustles. What about someone who's never done a side hustle? They don't have a lot of tech or social media experience. Can they still do this program?
Oh, for sure. What I love about the program is that in the training, it will break down even how to like create a social media. platform, how to create an account. So it's going to really walk you through it. And that goes for like tech. It's going to walk you through the steps. Yes, there might be some problem solving involved, right? But we do have the tech support. We have live tech support where they'll
Yeah.
help you. And then you have us, so we all help each other, and we have our meetings and our community. So when it comes to tech, you will be good because the videos will walk you through it step by step.
I always tell people, even though we were in ed tech, we weren't. People think that means we were
Not
IT.
IT.
We weren't IT people. We were trainers. We trained teachers and districts, school districts, on how to use online software to help kids read. But we weren't IT people. So my, I don't. I'm not a techie person. I have done some technical things, but honestly, I hated it. And so the thought of setting up my own website and all of that, just that was going to be a deal breaker for me when I found out that this is literally a business in a box where all I have to do is follow the step-by-step instructions, plug and play. And like you said, there might be a few things that, this didn't connect, that didn't connect, go back in the community and ask there or search in the question area in the community area, and there's already somebody there who's asked it and is ready to answer. And I love now that they have the live tech calls, I think twice a week, so you can get on there and ask questions. But honestly, once that tech was set up, we really don't deal with a lot of tech except the email system, and that's not difficult to use at all.
No, not at all. And even just like TikTok itself, we're learning so much all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Mary, I'm just impressed with your skills since we've started. I'm just saying.
Well, thank you. And I wanted to piggyback on that. I didn't even have a TikTok account when I started doing this. And Carrie was always telling me to get on TikTok. And I was always saying, no, I don't want anything to do with TikTok. I was acting like an old person. And I was saying things like, I don't need any more technology or social media in my life. But the reason I did start a TikTok account for the digital growth business is because I could start fresh without friends and family poking around in my business, asking me what I was doing, discouraging me because family will do that. Friends can do that too. I'll tell you a quick story about my kids, but I also realized through the training inside the digital growth community that TikTok has great organic growth, and they teach you what Michelle and our mentors teach us is something called attraction marketing. So that means we're not DMing friends and family. We're not trying to poke into people's DMs and get business or customers. What we're doing is putting information out there in such a way that we're training the algorithms so that people that are interested in this opportunity find us. And that's how people end up, becoming leads, potential customers and friends, hopefully friends for life. So that's one of the things that I can honestly say the training inside this program is spectacular about because I didn't even hesitate to get into TikTok once I joined and needed to decide on a platform.
Mhm. And part of the frustration that I know, like we experienced with other platforms, was because we didn't understand how to get a following, and that's what this program does. It teaches you step by step that skill set of attraction marketing. So you're going to learn all of that, and then she has daily videos that teaches you these strategies in bite size pieces. So I love that.
And it's in such an authentic way. It's not salesy. I had someone say to me last week, well, I'm not a salesperson. And I'm like, I'm not a salesperson. I've never been a salesperson. I've never even done MLMs for that reason. I didn't consider myself being able to do that. And yeah, you can use other platforms. Allie was saying, can I use LinkedIn for my platform? Carrie, you want to tell us about that?
LinkedIn is a good one and it's untapped.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely LinkedIn is a great platform to use. You can use any social media, guys. Like, just pick your poison. As long as you follow that 2 hour workday, which is posting the three pieces of content a day, and you're going to learn who your perfect audience, perfect customer is, through the trainings, you can totally use LinkedIn. That's a great place to start, especially if you have a following already.
I agree. And Carrie and I have both taken advantage of LinkedIn because we do have a pretty strong following there. One thing I will say is that LinkedIn is different than TikTok, just like TikTok is different from Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. So there is a different strategy to walk through. There is training inside the community on LinkedIn. But Carrie and I also created a special training just for LinkedIn inside our Promised Land Mindset community. So if anybody is not inside the Promised Land Mindset community, you can come on in and that is free. And we do have a LinkedIn training in there. In fact, I did that. And then Carrie followed up with how to create a lead magnet for that. So I'm excited about that question because I think people automatically assume if they find us on TikTok, they have to do what we're doing on TikTok, but that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's check the training. It's pinned. You'll see it on the top.
Check that training. It is available right now. So one you mentioned, Carrie, you said follow the 2 hour workday. And that is another common question that we get asked. Because I think when people hear side hustle or second job or side gig, they're used to burning the midnight oil, burning the candle at both ends, getting up early before work or after, working and then not seeing a lot of return on their investment. And I know that's how I felt when I was trying to do some things online too. But this is so different. And that's what attracted me to this program as well, is when Michelle talks about the 2 hour workday. And I thought I could actually get my time back. So, do you want to talk a little bit about what we do in those 2 hours? It's very concentrated, but it doesn't have to be all 2 hours at once, right?
Exactly. A 2 hour workday will look different for every single person. That part of why I loved this business model with the 2 hour workday is my previous side hustles. I was up till 4 in the morning, no lie. I did like the print on demand. I'm not hating against that because that's like my creative outlet and I do t-shirts and all that. But it took a lot of time to create. And I was up till late. Um, so what I love about this is that I can literally squeeze this in on my breaks. I'm building a lot of my business in the carpool lane in front of my kids' school because I'm sitting there for an hour. So
Right.
one thing that I've learned in this business is to really value my time. So the time that I have, I am using it for the income earning activities. That's what we call it. And for 2 hour work days, you are basically posting, you're creating content, either 2 to 3 pieces of content that could be video, it could be faceless content, it could be photos. Again, you're learning about this in the training of how that can look like for you. You make it work for you, right? So I'm doing the for me, I'm literally making content from my car to my house. So as I walk home,
I've seen you do that.
I do. Or when I'm, on the way out to pick up my kids, or so there's so many simple ways and strategies that you learn in this training of how to make it work. So, you're posting content, and then lives are optional. You could go live on any platform. And actually, I marry you too, I think. We didn't start going live until later, actually.
No, not right away. Mm-mm.
Yeah, so and that again, that's optional. And then we also teach you how to the free ad strategy. So how to create free ads to bring traffic to your website and to make sales that way. So
Yeah.
you make the 2 hour workday work for yourself, but the 2 hours doesn't include training. It's only income earning activities.
Right. And you want to make time for the training because you want to get, like Michelle always says, Just get 1% better every single day. This is not a sprint, it is a marathon. This is not a get rich quick. This is a build a real sustainable business like we're watching so many people do. And when you said going live is optional, I like going live because it helps me connect with people. I feel like I can share my story easier, and I feel like people can get to know me and return and ask questions. However, Wendy in our community, who has far surpassed $500,000 at this point, I think she will probably be our first millionaire after Michelle herself. Wendy didn't even go live and got to $500,000 in sales. She did 3 pieces of content a day on TikTok, and that was it. Never had the time, or she was working and she didn't have the time to go live. So it's definitely possible to do all that. So it's totally preference. I understand that for some people going live is a little bit intimidating, but that's why you just go out and watch other people. And even in our community in promiselandmindset.com, I'm sorry, Promised Land Mindset in school, we have a little going live training guide that we're polishing up right now, right?
Yes, yes. It
Yeah,
is
so
so good.
that that's helpful.
Can't wait to release that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I agree with you, Mary. I love the community building. I mean, Mary and I are just people. We love people and we love building communities. So I just feel closer to my following when I go on live. So I really do enjoy doing that as well.
yeah, and we like helping. That's where we're trained. We're both come from the education world and then into the corporate training. So we just that's what we are trained to do. It's our second nature to always think of ways to help people. Speaking of helping people, I think one of the other most commonly asked questions is how do I really make money with this program? And I had someone ask me, I don't know if it was yesterday or today on my lives, I can't remember, but it was like, is there any value in the programs other than just reselling them? That was one of the questions. And then someone today asked, well, what exactly are we selling? So I think we should talk about that a little bit, how that income is made and what is the value of the programs. And there's 2 parts to that, right? So the value of the programs is the training piece. And so a lot of people like to look at this as I could go back to school and I could get, maybe a 2-year degree and spend thousands of dollars in digital marketing because that is happening right now. It's a pretty popular degree to get right now because everyone recognizes that the money is to be made online and that opportunities are online, or for less than the cost of your average cell phone. I say average because I buy the average. You can get these 4 levels of training that includes everything from social media mastery, like we've talked about, to attraction marketing, email marketing, how to create digital products, how to start your own courses, how to make money off of other people's products, and how to scale your business. And Michelle teaches all of that inside the community. And I think with a lot of skill and grace that we're never feeling pressured, but we're always feeling motivated to learn the next thing so we can go to the next level. So that's the value of the programs as a standalone. And one of the things that attracted me to the program was I'm a writer and I'm working on my book proposal right now. And I know that when I get to publishers' desks, the first thing they're going to want to look at is how many followers do you have on social media and how many people do you have on an email list? In order for me to even get considered for a book contract, I've got to have something to back it up that I've got people who might be interested in buying my book. So that's what attracted me was this program alone would give me some skills that I needed. When I found out about the resale rights, that was just like the icing on the cake. So I'll let you explain how those 4 programs work.
And okay, so yes, there's four programs, digital products. And again, that those are the programs that you're learning the skill set from. And we have, you just want me to explain what each of them are, Mary? What exactly did you want me to?
Yeah, I think sometimes what people want to know is like, what's the difference between the four?
Okay.
And also, how do I make money? Like some people have asked me, oh, I'm not going to get a 1099 from a company. So if you could kind of just maybe share how that works. This is your own business, etc.
Correct. Yeah. So, right. Okay. So the difference is, when you purchase, like when you invest in the 100, so the 100 is your basic level. You just learn, you're basically learning what digital marketing is. And along with that, you're receiving, the launch to profit plan in that $100. And then you'll be able to resell the 100. Then when you go to 200, you want to think of this of like levels of education. So as you move up to the programs, you're learning, you're building more onto that skill set.
Right.
So the $300 one is passive income. You're learning about the importance of passive income. You're getting, the 300 daily pay blueprint. So you're learning how to average a daily pay customer of $300. Okay. And then when you move on to 600, you're learning how to average a 600, customer, but now you're learning about the art of digital,
Digital
marketing
mastery.
and
Yeah.
going more in depth. And then 900 is like the big kahuna, right? But here, 900 is the legacy. So you're really learning how to build that legacy for your family, for yourself, for your children. Um, but we always like to say you're joining like the billion-dollar industry because that's what it is. But ultimately, when you invest in that legacy program for $900, you receive four income streams. All the, digital products below that, the six, the three, and the one, you're able to resell those products, those programs, and, earn those profits 100% into your pocket. So with that being said, you're receiving 100% profit, not 15, not 20. There's no middleman. You are earning 100%. So this is your own business. You're the CEO of your own business. And that's the beauty of this. So not only are you gaining a new skill set, like Mary said, and for me, I have a nonprofit organization. So I'm learning how to build an email list. I'm learning how to do email sequences. I mean, these sound foreign to you, but these are things that you're going to learn, how to create content, get volunteers. So I'm able to apply this skill set to my organization, and at the
Right.
same time, I'm earning and I'm learning and being able to apply to other aspects and things I'm doing. So
Mhm.
hopefully I
Yeah.
didn't ramble too much there, Mary.
No,
Sorry.
I think that's good. And I just think it's important to remember that also in the Legacy Builders program, you will get that, you will get certified. There is a certification process to go through that lends a real strong air of credibility because people are out there looking for other programs.
Yeah.
And when they see, I put my certification on my emails and everything because it's important that they're saying, you know what, these people went through some, and it was pretty rigorous training, if I must say so myself. You had to pass a test and everything. Michelle doesn't just want people out there talking willy-nilly about this program because all of our reputation is on the line. So I love that piece that they added. And I also love that there is a private legacy builder Zoom call every week because again, those are for people who are really ready to take their business to the next level. And you'll get some really great training out of that as well.
Love that.
Yeah. All right. Those were the most common questions that I've kind of collected, and then maybe next week we could tackle three different ones. But Allie, did you have any other questions for us? That I loved your question about LinkedIn, and anybody else who may have popped in. Any other questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, awesome, guys. Thanks so much for being here. We're going to send this recording out. We will be doing these pop-up trainings every week. So invite friends and family and who want to learn more about digital marketing and bring your questions. We appreciate the questions. It helps us know where there might be gaps in what we've been explaining on our social media, and then we can fill in those gaps so people can make an informed, comfortable decision about moving forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Bye.